let's go over the most commonly infringed areas on Etsy that I have seen people and new sellers go in time and time again. Even experienced sellers have went into these avenues on Etsy and have gotten flagged on Etsy or gotten their listings taken down, and as far as even being removed and permanently banned from the Etsy platform. So without further ado, I wanted to start this video off by inviting you to my free print-on-demand crash course. If you haven't already joined that, this is a completely A to Z free course that I have created in order to start and grow your first Etsy and print-on-demand business. You can check out the links down below to join it. And also don't forget to subscribe to support this channel and like this video for more content like this. So let's hop straight into it, guys. As always, with any legal type of video, I have to preface the video with the probably most annoying statement you've ever heard on YouTube, which is, I am not a legal professional. I cannot give legal advice, but I can provide you with my experiences in selling on Etsy for the past 5 years on what I've seen a lot of sellers go into, get their listings taken down, flagged, and also gotten Etsy sellers suspended and banned permanently from the platform. With now that statement in mind, I wanted to go over the first thing, which is copyright versus trademark. A copyright protects the original works of authorship. This is art, literature, like books, music, and other creative works. Now, if we're talking about a trademark, what a trademark is it protects words, phrases, symbols, or designs. When it comes to copyrights and trademark infringement, this is typically when you see maybe a graphic of, it could be Harry Potter, or it could be maybe Disney. That is an example of a trademark type of design that you cannot use and sell on Etsy, which also goes into one of the most infringed areas on Etsy is Disney. I want to mention here, I am such a big fan of Disney. I love everything Disney. But have I designed anything that is Disney related? The answer is no. That can cause a listing to be taken down from Etsy. In 2024, we saw that Steamboat Willie and that specific character design and use of that graphic was actually released to public domain as a trademark. And this trademark was originally created in 1928. Which was a huge shock to the system of Disney, as far as now you can technically, again, not a legal professional, use it in some form. However, again, I would not recommend it. This is one thing that I found in the world of selling and selling products for a really long time now is, I'm going to get close to the camera to tell you this one. You do not want to mess with the mouse, okay? You don't want to mess with the mouse because the mouse has a whole copywriting team, lawyers who do this all day, every day. They find things online to take down from the internet, okay? So that's all I'm going to say on that one, because as much as I've seen comments on YouTube, hey, I see other sellers doing this, why can't I do this? If one seller can do it, that must mean it's legal, right? This is one of the biggest myths that I've seen on Etsy, which is, if a other seller is doing it, it must be legal. This is not the line I ever want anyone watching this video to ever use or think of, because that is so not true. And we don't know the full story and the full picture of the sellers who are maybe selling Disney merch. They might have a license officially purchased through Disney. However, what I'm going to say here is licenses are very pricey. They're very expensive. They can range from a few $1,000s to hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy one trademark and have that license to use for a specific time frame. So just keep in mind, there is that opportunity. We don't know if other sellers on Etsy have that license. However, you'll see a lot of Etsy sellers who don't have a license who get suspended eventually on Etsy and get their shops removed on Etsy. So I do not want anyone watching to have that happen to you. So just don't do anything Disney. Any characters involved with Disney, even using Disney as a keyword phrase, on your listings can get your listings taken down off of Etsy. So this is one of the most infringed avenues on Etsy. And in the legal world, again, not a legal professional, troll the comment section and put not a legal professional, but ... and tell me a product or a phrase that maybe you found copyrighted, and then I'll know that you've been watching the video. I'll try to heart as many of those as possible because I know you made it to this point of the video. However, when it comes to gray areas as far as trademarks go, even being or having a design that's associated with a trademark or reference to a brand that causes confusion for the customer, that they might think that this is Disney who sold them the product, can be liable for possible lawsuits. So again, you don't want to mess with the mouse, guys, okay? So the next most infringed area on Etsy revolves around Universal Studios characters such as Marvel and DC. Prior to 2024, you could not write super space hero or superheroes on t-shirts and sweatshirts and apparel and other products until this trademark got released by USPTO.gov. Now, this is a segment of this video that I wanted to reference USPTO.gov. This is one of the most free routes that you can do your own trademark searching with. This is where it gets a little bit more complex, is each word mark and trademark that you see. A word mark is those words specifically you cannot use in any form, in any style, in any design because it's owned by a different company. This is something that was a huge update last year, in which the trademark word, which is super space heroes, was actually released and canceled as a trademark. Next commonly trademarked area, which goes along the lines of Universal Studios, which is Harry Potter. I would say Universal Studios, they have a lot of rights, or they have their own licenses with Harry Potter. So I think some people compare this to just J.K. Rowling. It's actually Universal Studios and J.K. Rowling and maybe her copyrighted characters in her book all go within this trademark and copyright category that is commonly, I would say most commonly, infringed on Etsy. That goes for any books, any quotes that you find in books. Again, those are all copyrighted materials. So you have to be careful when you're maybe going into selling anything in the magical world. I'm going to take a brief pause and take off my jacket because, oh my goodness, it is toasty. I am toasty. So speaking more about trademark battles, Yellowstone and a lot of national parks are actually trademarked and copyrighted. So even the writing of Yellowstone and a lot of national parks, they trademark those national parks to sell their merchandise. And Yellowstone also is trademarked via the show Yellowstone. So when it comes to Yellowstone, again, you don't want to use anything associated with Yellowstone. I've seen a lot of listings on Etsy get taken down time and time again from using Yellowstone as maybe even a keyword in their listings. And this is one article I found on Yellowstone, and the trademark is a coffee brand actually got sued over having a association with Yellowstone. So again, just another trademark that you want to be cautious of and stay far, far away from. So the next area that is most commonly infringed on Etsy is anything related to the show The Office. And also, in part, I'm going to reference the Friends show as well here, because I think that a lot of characters associated with The Office and Friends is a lot of the times used on Etsy, and those listings typically are flagged, taken down from Etsy for the reason that certain characters and certain phrases and names are trademarked in USPTO.gov. One example is Dunder Mifflin. What's really interesting about Dunder Mifflin is it was actually trademarked well or around the time the show was created. Even if the trademark is open and available, it's just something I personally would never go into, and that's all I can say there. And even using or confusing your phrases or the way that a design looks on a t-shirt that could be confused with the company who owns the Friends logo. That's a territory, again, I would not recommend going into. As far as other trademarks in the office and shows that I've commonly seen most infringed is Shroot Farms. So any listings or designs that include Shroot Farms, I've seen this come up time and time again on Etsy and has been a bestseller on Etsy in the past few years. However, a lot of people don't realize that Shroot Farms is a trademarked word on uspto.gov. So again, you just want to be careful and stay out of that trademark territory. Going into other trademarks that are common design trademarks you may not know exist is the smiley face trademark. This is a design that has been battled even with big corporations such as Walmart. So if you look on Google, you'll find that there was a lawsuit between the Smiley company and Walmart, in which Walmart had a design and in their logo that looked similar and confused possibly the Smiley brand, in which Smiley sued Walmart. As you can see, Walmart didn't even win, which is very shocking because typically we see big corporations win in these types of lawsuits, but they had to change that logo they had of a smiley face. This is just one example of why I personally would not go into creating any smiley types of graphics or any type of designs. I even made this mistake when I was first beginning and I thought smileys were okay, and then I found out that smiley is actually a trademarked type of design. So highly recommend just knowing that. Smiley was actually created 50 years ago. This is insane statistics, but Smiley was created 50 years ago and is still to this day copyrighted and trademarked. So just be careful if you're going into the zone of smiley faces. You have been warned. Well, speaking of coffee brands, the next brands that you want to stay away from religiously is Starbucks. So this is common and associated with images on Etsy. So even if you are using a mock-up image that has maybe a live model that has a coffee in their hands and it has the Starbucks logo in it, via AI scanning and just images over the internet, if you have the Starbucks logo even in a photo, that can be flagged as infringement of Starbucks due to that logo being in the image itself. So this is something a lot of sellers may not even think of when you're purchasing images or photos online to showcase your products. You have to be careful of that brand association. Another common issue that I've seen with sellers is even Nike or Adidas having any association or those logos in your images. Again, there's AI image scanning tools now that a lot of copyright and trademark lawyers are using to find and take down listings across the internet, not just Etsy. So that's another thing to be careful of. The last few ones that I'm going to go over are what a lot of you have put in my comment section of my past videos, which is Girl Mom. So Girl Mom is a trademarked word mark. Grill Master is another one that I've seen when it comes to maybe Father's Day gifts. I've seen a lot of sellers put Grill Master as a design or phrase on their design. And again, you just want to be careful of that. And then realtor. So this is a word I mistakenly went into, and I'm going to be the first one to out myself because I think it's important to know that no one is alone in accidentally infringing. I am human, guys, okay? We are all human. We use words all the time, and I think this is what's common, right? Instead of saying grocery store, you may say the type of grocery store near you. So an example, maybe even pharmacy, right? So if you think of a pharmacy, you're like, oh, I'm just going to go to CVS instead of saying pharmacy. So instead you're swapping out the brand in your head for the generic term. And that's what I would compare to this issue that a lot of us have when we accidentally infringe on products is instead of coffee, you may say Starbucks. That's it for this video. Please comment down below what trademarks that you have found in your time that are very common. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more content like this. I post free tutorials every single month on this channel on how to create products on Etsy with print on demand. If you haven't started a print on demand business and you are curious on how to do so and learning things that you may not know before starting, I recommend taking my print on demand crash course down below as well. It's a completely free course on how to set up your first Etsy and print on demand business. Besides that, that is it for this video, and I will see you all in the next video here.